There are 5 types of pressure plates in Minecraft, but have you ever wondered how they actually differ? They're often used for redstone contraptions and decorations, but each one has its own unique function. The wooden pressure plate is the cheapest to craft and the most versatile. It instantly outputs a full power level of 15, even if there's just a single feather on top of it. The stone pressure plate works the same way, but it only detects living entities. No matter how many stacks of blocks you drop on it, it won't activate. Next, we have the weighted pressure plates. The gold one starts with a signal strength of just 1, but the more entities and items on it, the stronger the output. And the iron pressure plate works the same way, but requires 10 times more weight to reach full power. To get a maximum signal strength, you'd need 141 mobs standing on it. And what are they used for? Gold plates detect small weights, making them great for item sorters and farms, while iron plates react to larger groups, useful in minigames. And finally, there's the polished blackstone pressure plate, which works exactly like the stone one, detecting only living entities. However, it blends perfectly with nether textures, making it much harder to spot, great for hidden traps and stealthy redstone builds.
These are some of the most cheater mods in Minecraft, and for good reason. World Downloader looks simple, but its power is huge. It lets you download any world you've entered. The dangerous part is that you can literally grab your enemy's base, open it up in single player, and study every detail from the inside. You'll see all the weak spots, secret passages, and even chest contents if the server protection is poor. That means you can prepare a perfect raid plan before you even make a move. Shulker Tooltip feels much more harmless. All it does is show you the contents of shulker boxes in the tooltip, but this completely saves you from scams on auctions, where someone might try to sell a fake shulker. It also helps if you have dozens of shulkers filled with resources, since you'll instantly know what's inside each one, and even without opening them. Many players consider this mod fair since it doesn't break the game balance. Chunk Animator was officially created for visuals. It adds a smooth animation when chunks load, but here's the trick. With certain settings, and by reloading chunks, it works almost like X-ray. Suddenly you can spot hidden structures, underground bases, and even dungeons. That's why on some servers Chunk Animator is actually banned, since it gives such a massive advantage. And you might not see me again, so make sure to subscribe.
There's something weird about this seed. A strange block is drawing a pattern with black concrete. If you write ant in a book and toss it into a portal, you'll land in a world with just one block of white concrete. Creepy, right? This isn't just some random glitch. It's actually part of a secret world hidden inside the Minecraft snapshot 20W14 Infinity. Just head to 0 coordinates and you'll find this mysterious block frantically drawing some kind of pixel art. And next to it, there's just one sign that says patience. And if you follow the sign's instructions and have a little patience, you'll see how it starts building a path, stretching endlessly in one direction, and it doesn't stop. The block follows a simple rule. If blocks step on white concrete, it turns black, and if step on black, it turns white. But what happens if you place a black pixel in its path? At first it gets confused, but then it changes direction and keeps building as if nothing happened. It works just like real-life ants, which follow simple rules but end up creating trails over time. Ants leave pheromones, and if one finds food, others follow its trail, reinforcing the path and forming entire networks. This is called Langton's ant, and it's even used in Minecraft's world generation.
If the copper golem came back to Minecraft 4 years after losing the mob vote, then which other mobs could still get a second chance? First, we need to remove the obvious ones. The first mob vote loser were the wildfire, the great hunger, and the barnacle. The developers clearly said those mobs will never return. Termites are also unlikely. They were paired with ostriches and meant to live in piles of rotting plants. After the fireflies ended up as nothing more than a bush effect, it seems insect-style mobs will probably never happen. Meerkats and vultures have missed their opportunity as well. They were tied to a desert or Badlands update, but the desert was already refreshed recently. Mojang usually adds mobs only as part of major updates, so those animals will stay out of the game. The tough golem is a more complicated case. In version 121, players received many new tough blocks, but the golem was not added. There is still a chance Mojang could bring it in a future update if the theme fits. The glare, rascal crab, and moobloom will probably not return soon. Caves are already updated, mangrove swamps look fresh, and moobloom does not match any major theme. The mobs with the best chance right now are penguins and the iceologer. Gold biomes have not been updated for many years, and these two would fit perfectly. And you might not see me again, so make sure to subscribe.
Have you ever noticed that when a dropped item is between 2 players, it always gets picked up by just one of them? Why does it happen that one player easily collects resources while the other cannot? At first I thought the player who moves the most gets the item, but even when I was running around near an AFK player, the item still went to them. Then I figured it must be about who's closer, but nope, that wasn't it either. In reality, it's much more interesting. The priority for picking up items is given to the player who has been connected to the server the longest. For example, right now, I'm dropping items at the feet of the mayor of my town, but I'm the one picking them up, because the mayor joined the server after me, so this time, the priority is mine. However, if I disconnect and rejoin the game, the priority will shift to the mayor since they'll now have been connected longer. Did you know that in Minecraft, you can use a cauldron to wash off your scent and make it harder for the warden to find you? The warden can usually detect you from 6 blocks blocks away. If you're closer than that, it will catch your scent and attack immediately. But if you stay farther than 6 blocks, it will keep sniffing endlessly without attacking. In Bedrock Edition, you can lower its detection radius by washing off in a cauldron filled with water. This temporarily reduces the radius by half, giving you more time to plan your next move or make an escape. And this only works on Bedrock Edition because only there do cauldrons have this cool functionality. On Java Edition, this trick won't work.
The furnace minecart seems completely useless. Starting from version 121, you can put a boat into a minecart, which creates a strange glitch. A boat with a chest sits inside the minecart. Then if you place someone in the boat, the minecart starts moving backwards by itself. And craziest part is this minecart does not even need rails at all. Not even powered rails can stop it. Thanks to this glitch, you can ride a zombie piglin even in survival mode. The trick is based on turning a pig into a zombified piglin after a lightning strike. We put on a saddle, ride it, and drive up to a lightning rod during a thunderstorm. With a trident enchanted with channeling, we give a discharge. And now we are already riding on an infected piglin. If you get off him, you will not be able to saddle him again. This glitch has been on Java for a long time, but it does not exist on Bedrock. Mobs do not understand where you are if you crouch on the corner of a block. If you do this on a cliff, it seems logical that mobs should go straight to hit the player, but for some reason they start looking for detours. It is especially effective in the end where Endermen try to go around and even fall into the void. This happens because mobs think the player is standing on air, and visually it almost looks that way, but in fact we are holding onto this corner, and it is an obvious glitch, because in Bedrock mobs are smarter and know exactly where the player is.
How about a sandstorm like this in Minecraft? Normally, when it rains in the desert, nothing really changes. The sky just gets darker, and that's it. But this one resource pack changes everything, while still keeping the game completely vanilla. While Mojang gave us lifeless gray fog you can't even disable, this pack brings the world to life with real immersive weather. Now, even the end isn't empty anymore. It's covered in heavy fog, and strange glowing particles float all around. The overworld looks different, too. Some biomes feel bright and fresh, others are more moody and mysterious. And the old birch forest transforms into a peaceful fall landscape. Sunlight now shines underwater, and portals glow softly just like you're using shaders. Take a cherry blossom biome. Now during the day, it's filled with soft pink light like something out of a dream. And if you wander into the pale garden at night, you might spot glowing eyes watching you. I especially love the nether. It finally has firestorms now, and even the empty biomes feel like they're hiding something. When it rains in the overworld, the drops slant like real rain, and you'll even hear the wind howling around you. The creator also reworked explosions and a bunch of small details. Now they look way more cinematic. The name of this resource pack is right there on your screen, and don't forget to subscribe. This is what Minecraft would look like if it were dark fantasy. At the beginning of the game, you receive an arcane book that allows you to pick your class. There are also over 10 armor sets and a big variety of weapons to choose from. You'll definitely need them against the many custom mobs out there. You'll explore 4 unique dungeons, each with different enemies and a big boss at the end. The first one has an Egyptian theme and can be found in the desert. There you'll face the first boss, a winged warrior with twin blades. You'll also see mummies and large armored crocodiles called Furies roaming the place. Underground catacombs stretch like a maze, hiding secret crypts and loot rooms, and of course they're crawling with undead and a powerful necromancer who floods the halls with skeletons. Farther afield lies the Blood Cult compound. It has 2 main buildings, the church and the cathedral. Inside there's the high priest, and yeah, he's got a lot of health. To get to him, you'll need to fight through cultists and monsters along the way, and there's powerful loot waiting if you make it. The last dungeon is called Secret Flame, and it's located in the Nether. It's full of fiery creatures and built around a lava-themed fortress. There are 3 main mobs there: Inferni, the Blazing Lady, and the Flame King. Besides these 4 dungeons, there are other unique creatures you can find in different structures across the world. The mod is called Dungeons and Combat. I was digging for diamonds and the cave opened up into something unreal. Giant trees were growing underground, massive glowing crystals lit up the walls. And wait, are those dinosaurs? Some were surprisingly chill as long as I didn't do anything stupid, but the rest looked ready to eat me alive. I fed this massive winged dinosaur, and somehow it let me tame it. I held onto its legs and we flew through the caves. This is what the cave update should have been, and the same goes for the ocean. Sure, we got coral reefs, shipwrecks, and various underwater life, but we never got a truly deep ocean. A place where light doesn't reach, and strange unseen creatures glide silently through the black water. This is where the glow squid should have actually lived. There are ruins scattered across the seafloor, but watch your step, you might hit a mine or end up as someone's rare midnight snack. Magnetic caves lit by glowing crystals, home to mechanical and magnetic creatures, and introducing a bunch of unique magnet-based mechanics. Then the darkest and most disturbing cave, a place of absolute blackness, filled with twisted beings obsessed with dark magic. music, and candy caves that look cheerful on the surface until you realize you're the one being served for dessert. All of this came from Alex's Caves mod that adds the wildest underground biomes I've ever seen.
How do you beat the kindest version of Minecraft ever? This version appeared in the very first April Fool's snapshot that added the friendly difficulty, the one where even the Ender Dragon doesn't attack you. And this difficulty isn't something you can beat the usual way. Here, you can't die at all, even if you jump into the void. Each time you should take damage, whether from mob attacks or falling from heights, your health keeps increasing while your hits heal enemies. If you look up, you'll see clouds shaped like hearts and squids flying through the air. Creepers smile and give you flowers when they explode. Wither skeletons walk around with heart staffs, dropping bone meal. And when you trade with villagers, they just thank you for donation and don't give you anything back. Even dungeons are now safe too, because in the temples, there's already a prepared staircase leading directly to the chest and no TNT under the floor. It's designed so that you need to gain a certain amount of health to access the minigame Minesweeper and win. However, I found a way to clear this version in the usual way. We can't deal damage ourselves or break end crystals, but explosions can still cause damage. If you bring a lot of beds, you can use them to blow up all the crystals and then the dragon itself. And you might not see me again, so make sure to subscribe. Minecraft almost got a smooth difficulty slider that would make survival deeper. Instead of the usual difficulty levels like peaceful or hard, the team was thinking about a special mode that makes the game harder by adding more realistic survival rules. After turning on this mode, you would suddenly have things like tiredness, thirst, weight limits for your inventory, and slow healing. The idea sounds really cool, but it never appeared in the actual game. Mojang probably decided that it would make the game too complicated for most players, so the idea stayed on paper. And here's another interesting thing that players noticed, and many people thought it was a future update. Developer Nembone once showed a funny camel bug, but careful viewers saw something in the background. Behind camel, you could see sand that looked like it was made of thin layers similar to snow. Players immediately thought that Mojang was testing a new desert system that could make deserts look much more beautiful and realistic. But later it turned out that this was only a personal experiment made by Nembone, and it was never planned for the game. It is a shame because deserts could look amazing with this idea. Another idea the team wanted to add was related to moving across lava. At first they considered boats made from netherwood or even from netherite, but a full lava transport system turned out to be overly convenient. And the only lava boats we ever saw were the obsidian ones from an April Fool's snapshot, and those sank in lava instantly because they were too heavy. So instead of boats, the developers created striders, which are living creatures that let you travel across lava in a funny but not very fast way. And you might not see me again, so make sure to subscribe.
Most players don't realize this, but curing zombie villagers can be much easier. You can just use a regular arrow tipped with weakness, and with a piercing crossbow, one arrow can affect several zombie villagers at once. What makes it even better is that unlike potions, it doesn't disappear and can be used again. Too bad we don't have arrows tipped with golden apples yet. The copper golem can detect chests underground from up to 8 blocks away. You might think this would make treasure hunting super easy, but here's the catch. If a chest is covered by a block, the golem won't see it at all. However, this ability can still be useful for finding secret bases or someone's hidden loot, so if you want to keep your chest safe from a curious golem, make sure to cover it with a solid block. The too expensive message appears when enchanting or repairing an item goes over 40 levels. That's because the game stacks hidden penalties every time you use the anvil. To avoid this, start by enchanting the item on an enchantment table since it adds no penalty. Then apply the expensive enchantments first and save the cheaper ones for last. Enchanted items from villagers have no prior penalties, making them a great starting point too. How do you quickly find a woodland mansion? Just level up a cartographer and he'll sell you a map where the mansion is already marked. And to get there faster, use elytra or a nether portals. And when you're looting the rooms, don't forget to mark where you've already been and check for secret rooms. There can be a lot of them.
This is the rarest naturally generated chest in Minecraft. Inside, it's got 14 enchanted golden apples. Every chest in Minecraft's got its own loot seed. Basically, it decides what's gonna spawn inside. A chest with this kind of loot seed can't exist, and it actually spawns somewhere deep out in Minecraft's world. A regular player is never gonna fight it by just playing, but with some crazy algorithms. It's totally possible. On the seed, you're gonna spawn right in a stronghold. The world actually tried to spawn you in the mushroom biome, but that's impossible by the game's rules. With a huge ocean around, the spawn got shifted by 1,000 blocks, and boom, you end up in a canyon with a stronghold. This village spawned at a crazy -50 height and is right next to an ancient city. The chance of this happening is almost zero. It all has to do with massive underground pits. The village generated right in this hole leading straight to the ancient city. Just look at this architectural masterpiece. This is one of the rarest temples in Minecraft. It spawned in a cold taiga where there shouldn't even be any jungles. In fact, a tiny jungle biome only took up like 3-4 blocks, and the temple completely covered it. Imagine you find the end portal, go into the end, and there's no island. This isn't a bug, it's an actual seed. The reason end islands generate with random amounts of endstone, and on this seed, not a single block spawned. The chance of this happening is almost zero, but it's still possible.
Now in Minecraft, you can craft netherite horse armor. In Warm Oceans, you can find a coral zombie nautilus, and with a spear, you can get a new advancement called Mob Kebab. In the new snapshot, devs updated the main menu and added several cool features. Finally, if you put diamond horse armor and a netherite ingot in the smithing table, you'll get the netherite horse armor. This is strongest armor for horses that gives full protection and doesn't burn in lava. There's also a new variant of the zombie Nautilus. In War Motions, you can now find the coral zombie Nautilus, and it behaves just like the regular one but looks much cooler and covered in bright coral textures. However, you can still summon it anywhere using a command. The spear was rebalanced again. Missing a charged attack now punishes you harder. Recovery is slower, and accuracy matters more than ever. The new advancement Mob Kebab challenges you to hit 5 mobs at once with a single charged spear attack. The easiest way to complete it is to line up enemies near a spawner or a narrow tunnel and strike